I caught my wife cheating with my best friend because her fitness tracker gave her away. My name's Jake. I'm 38. I live in Columbus, Ohio, and I work in IT. I'm not the kind of guy who posts his business online, but lately, I just need to get this out. Somewhere. Maybe telling this story will help someone else. Or maybe it'll just help me not lose my mind. Let me introduce you to the people in my life, the ones who meant everything to me, before everything fell apart. First, there's Emily, my wife. She's 36. We met in college, been married 14 years. She's always been the smart one. Funny, driven, beautiful. The kind of woman who lights up a room. Works in marketing now. Does 5 Burmese shots and drinks green smoothies. Honestly, I thought we were doing okay. Not perfect, but who is? Then there's Lily, our daughter. She's 15. Sharp, funny, stubborn as hell. Obsessed with true crime podcasts and horror movies. She's got this sarcastic sense of humor that drives me crazy. But she's my whole world. And then there's Matt, my friend. He's the guy I played poker with every month. We grilled together, helped each other move furniture, bitched about work over beers. Our daughters are best friends. He was my guy. Anyway, that's the cast. Now here's how everything started to unravel. A couple of months ago, Emily said she was feeling off. Not sleeping well. She wore her Fitbit to bed to track her sleep. Something she did from time to time. One morning, she asked me to sync it to her phone since it wasn't showing up properly. No problem. I deal with this stuff all the time. I opened the app, synced the data, and then I saw it. According to the activity log, Emily had taken over 12,000 steps between 1:30 and 3 in the morning. I actually laughed at first. What? Did you jog to a dream? I joked. She smiled, shrugged, said maybe it was a glitch. Maybe she rolled over a bunch in her sleep. Seemed harmless enough. Tech isn't perfect, right? But the next week I saw the same thing. 12,000 steps. Between 1 o'clock and 3 a.m. And then the week after that. Same deal. It was always Tuesdays. Always late at night. Always when I was dead asleep right next to her in bed. That's when I felt something shift inside me. That sinking, tight feeling in your chest. The one your gut gives you before your brain catches up. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I didn't want to be that guy, the paranoid husband. But I also couldn't ignore it. So I started watching. And that's when everything started to fall apart. After that third late-night step spike, I couldn't ignore it anymore. 12,000 steps. 1 to 3 a.m. Every Tuesday. Like clockwork. And the weirdest part? On those nights, Emily always seemed more energetic the next morning. Happier. More relaxed. She'd bounce out of bed and say she finally got some good rest. It didn't make sense. So I did what any semi-sane guy with a growing pit in his stomach would do. I started paying attention. I didn't accuse her of anything. I didn't even hint that something was bothering me. I just watched. Quietly. And the more I watched, the more little things started adding up. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, she'd go for a run after work. Said she needed to decompress. I never questioned it, she's always been into fitness. Sometimes she'd even text me a sweaty selfie with the caption, "Crushed it." But now I was wondering, crushed what exactly? One Thursday, I asked if she wanted me to join her. I used to run a little before my knees started acting up. Figured it was a fair suggestion. She got this look on her face, tight smile, awkward laugh. She said, "You'd slow me down, babe." That stung more than it should have. The next week, I checked the Fitbit again. Same story. Thousands of steps. Late night. But here's the kicker, that time, her steps stopped for a full 20 minutes around 2 a.m., then picked back up again. Like she'd paused. I stared at that screen way too long. Paused. Then back to pacing? Or something else? Still, I told myself I was being dramatic. I hadn't seen any real proof. No texts. No names. No hotel receipts. Just a bunch of numbers on a screen. But in my gut, I knew. Something wasn't right. So I decided to go a step further. I installed a location tracker app on an old phone and slipped it into her gym bag. I told myself it was just to ease my mind. But deep down, I already knew what I was going to find. I told myself I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't hacking her phone. I wasn't breaking into her email. All I did was slip a second-hand phone with a location tracker into the side pocket of her gym bag. Just for peace of mind. But let's be real. Deep down, I wasn't hoping to prove she was innocent. I was hoping I was wrong, and I wasn't. That first Tuesday after I planted the tracker, I watched her get ready like she always did. Sports bra, leggings, AirPods. She kissed me on the cheek, said, "Back in 45, and walked out the door with that same confidence she's always had. I opened the app 5 minutes later. She wasn't at the park. Not even close. She drove across town. To a residential neighborhood. I watched the dot stop in front of a house I didn't recognize right away. I stared at the address, copied it, pasted it into Google Maps. Street view loaded. And that's when my stomach dropped. It was Matt's house. I sat there, just blinking. Like maybe if I looked long enough, it would change. But it didn't. She was inside his house. I waited. Watched the dot sit still for nearly an hour. Then boom, back to life. The dot moved. She was on her way home. When she walked through the door, she looked flushed like she just finished a solid run. Hair tied up, slight sweat on her forehead. "Great run," she said. "Felt good." I nodded. I think I even smiled. But my hands were shaking. I barely slept that night. The next Thursday, I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed her. I waited until she left, then grabbed my keys and drove a few blocks behind. Kept my lights low. Stayed 2 turns back. Sure enough, she drove to the same house. Parked right out front. Walked up like she'd done it 100 times. No hesitation. He opened the door. They hugged. Not a friendly hug. Not a "hey, pal" hug. This was slow, close, intimate. Then they kissed. I swear, my heart stopped. I felt like the air got sucked out of my chest. I just sat there in my car. Staring. Watching my wife walk into my friend's house like it was the most normal thing in the world. She stayed for 52 minutes. I counted every one of them. When she finally left, I drove home. Parked in the garage. Pretended like I'd been there the whole time. She came in 5 minutes later, smiling, swinging her water bottle, asking if I wanted Thai for dinner. I told her sure. We ate together. Watched a show. She curled up next to me on the couch like nothing had changed. But everything had. And I had no idea what to do next. After I saw them kiss, something inside me broke. I wasn't angry, not yet. I wasn't crying. I was just numb. But that numbness didn't last long. Within a day, it turned into something else, this quiet, focused obsession. I needed proof. Not just for me. But because some sick part of me wanted to catch her. Wanted her to know I knew. I didn't want to accuse her and get gaslit. I wanted it to be undeniable. So I started watching everything. Her phone? Always locked. But her laptop? That was different. She kept it on the kitchen counter most nights. Work emails, online shopping, yoga videos on YouTube, nothing suspicious. Until I dug deeper. She used Chrome. Synced across devices. So I checked the browser history. She'd recently cleared it. Not completely. Just a few days here and there, which made it even more suspicious. People who aren't hiding things don't selectively delete browsing history. So I looked for what she missed. One of the URLs she forgot to erase led to a private messaging platform I'd never heard of before, some encrypted app made for discrete conversations. The site was logged out, but I recognized the favicon. I Googled it. Private chat, no notifications, browser-based. Perfect for affairs. That's when I knew. But the real proof came from something way simpler. She backed up her iPhone to our shared family iCloud, something we set up years ago and both forgot about. She never thought I'd check. I did. I pulled a full backup and started scrolling through her messages. And there it was. Him. Saved as MT like that was subtle. I opened the thread and just sat there. Hundreds of messages. Flirty. Sexual. Emotional. There was one that burned into my brain. It said, "Tuesday can't come fast enough. I miss the way you look at me when you're on top." That was 2 days ago. I scrolled. I scrolled until my eyes were sore. Photos. Inside jokes. Nicknames. They even joked about me. Called me Mr. Oblivious. That one hurt the most. I copied everything. Screenshotted it all. Put it on a flash drive. Labeled it Taxes 2023 because I knew she'd never touch it. That night I sat across from her at dinner. She smiled. Told me she'd had a productive day. I smiled back. Said I loved her. She said it back. And I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Not yet. Because I had everything I needed. Now it was just a matter of time. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. Asterisk. Not really. I'd lie in bed beside Emily, staring at the ceiling while she slept soundly, or pretended to. Some nights, she'd roll over and rest her hand on my chest. I'd freeze. Every instinct told me to shake her off. But I didn't. I was still trying to figure out what came next. But the one thing I knew for sure, his wife deserved to know. Her name is Rachel. Nice woman. Sweet. The kind that bakes cookies for school events and remembers birthdays. She and Emily weren't exactly close, but friendly enough. We'd all been at the same barbecues, same kids' birthday parties. Hell, we all went on a cabin trip together last fall. She didn't know. I knew she didn't know, so I printed the screenshots. Not all of them, just enough. Messages. A photo of them kissing at Matt's back door. A few timestamps. I put them in a manila envelope. No note. No explanations. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I just didn't want to talk. I just wanted her to see it and understand what she was looking at. I dropped it off Saturday morning. I drove to their house, heart racing, palms sweating. I didn't even get out of the car. I just walked up to the front porch, slid the envelope under the doormat, rang the bell, and got back in my car. I didn't wait, but I didn't go far either. I parked 2 blocks away and waited. About 15 minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Jake. Her voice was shaking. I could barely hear her over what sounded like crying in the background. She said, "Is this real?" I didn't know what to say. I just said, "I'm sorry." Then she hung up. An hour later, I was outside mowing the lawn, trying to distract myself, when a car pulled into my driveway fast. It was her. Rachel. She got out, still in pajamas, messy hair, mascara running down her cheeks. She took 2 steps toward me and just dropped. Not fainted. Not passed out. She just sank to the pavement like someone had unplugged her soul. I ran over, helped her up. She was sobbing. Not the loud kind, the broken, hollow kind. She just kept repeating, why them? Why you guys?" I didn't have an answer. I helped her sit on the porch steps. Got her a bottle of water. She couldn't stay long. Said her kids were still home. She just needed to see me. Needed to look me in the eye. To make it real. Before she left, she asked me the one question I wasn't ready for. "Are you going to tell Emily?" I opened my mouth, then shut it again. Because the truth was, I didn't know. I waited 2 days after Rachel showed up in my driveway. 2 long, awkward, silent days. Emily noticed. Of course she did. She kept asking if I was okay. Said I seemed off. I told her work was stressing me out. She offered to cook my favorite dinner. She rubbed my shoulders. She tried to kiss me. And I just stood there, watching her, thinking, you have no idea, I know. But I couldn't do it anymore. The pretending, the smiling, the lies on top of lies. I felt like I was going to explode. So on Wednesday night, the same night she usually went for a run, I stopped her at the door. She was lacing up her shoes, earbuds already in. I said, "Don't go." She looked up, confused. "What? Why?" I looked her dead in the eyes. "Because I know." She froze, didn't blink, didn't speak, just stared at me like her brain short-circuited. I said it again, slower. "I know where you've been going. I know about you and Matt." She laughed, an actual laugh, shaky, nervous, disbelieving. "What are you even talking about?" she said. "Are you serious right now?" I didn't respond. I just walked to the kitchen drawer, pulled out the flash drive, and placed it on the table between us. "Everything's on here. Your texts, your steps, your location history, photos, screenshots. I've known for weeks." And just like that, the air changed. Her whole face dropped, like her bones gave out under the weight of it. She sat down, said nothing for a while. Then she whispered, "How much do you know?" That told me everything I needed to know. It wasn't some misunderstanding. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It wasn't one time. It was real. I sat down across from her. "All of it," I said. She didn't cry. Not yet. She just looked tired. Tired and guilty and angry. But not at me. At herself. She started talking. Rambling, mostly. Said it started as a joke. Some flirty banter. Said she felt seen for the first time in years. Said it was never meant to go that far. I asked her how long it had been going on. She said, 8 months. 8 months. I asked her if she loved him. She didn't answer, which was answer enough. I walked out. I didn't say another word. Just grabbed my keys and left the house. I drove for hours that night. Nowhere in particular. Just far away from the woman I thought I knew. When I got back home that night, it was after midnight. The house was quiet. The lights were off. I thought maybe Emily had gone to bed. I walked in, sat on the couch in the dark, and just breathed. My chest hurt. Not like a sharp pain. More like a weight I couldn't shake. I was trying to make sense of everything. Trying to figure out if this was the beginning of the end or just the end, period. That's when I heard a door open upstairs. Then footsteps. Light ones. Lily. She came downstairs in pajama pants and an oversized hoodie. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were red and puffy. She didn't say anything. Just stood in the hallway, looking at me. "Hey," I said, my voice low. She walked over slowly and sat beside me. I asked, "You okay?" She didn't answer right away. Then she said the words that shattered me more than anything else had. "You're divorcing Mom, aren't you?" I froze. I hadn't said that word yet. Not to anyone. Not even to myself. "Where did you hear that?" I asked. Her eyes filled up with tears again. "I heard you guys earlier. The fight. The part about Matt." I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I just heard everything. I didn't know what to say. Couldn't lie. I just nodded. Then she hit me with the second gut punch. "Why would you do this to us?" Felt like my heart stopped. I turned to her, completely stunned. "Me?" She looked angry, hurt, confused. 15 years old and carrying the weight of a broken home on her shoulders. "You're the one leaving," she said. "You're the one who stormed out. You didn't even talk to me. You didn't even try." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell her everything. That her mom was the one who cheated. That I was the one trying to hold it all together. That I had the screenshots, the steps, the receipts. But I couldn't. She's my daughter. Not a weapon. So I swallowed it. "I'm sorry, Lil," I said. "I didn't want this. I swear." She shook her head. "I just want things to go back to normal," she whispered. And then she got up, walked back upstairs and shut her door. And I just sat there, alone in the dark, wondering when everything became so unfixable. You ever hit that point where you don't even feel angry anymore? Just empty? That's where I was. Emily had confessed. Rachel knew. Lily hated me. Matt was silent. Hadn't texted. Hadn't called. Hadn't even tried to explain himself. Coward. And then, out of nowhere, I got a message. From Rachel. It just said, "They're still seeing each other. I thought you should know." I stared at the screen for a while, thinking maybe she was mistaken. Wishful thinking, maybe. So I checked the tracker one last time. Emily had gone out again that morning. Said she was meeting a client for brunch. Her dot? Parked outside Matt's house. That was it. That was the final straw. I opened my phone and did something I told myself I wasn't going to do. I started a group chat. For people. Me, Emily, Matt, Rachel. I titled it, "Thought you all should see this." Then I dropped everything into the chat. Screenshots, photos, GPS logs, Fitbit data, a screen recording scrolling through their messages, time-stamped, raw, unforgiving. And then I wrote one line, "I'm done pretending." For a minute, no one responded. Then Rachel typed, "Unbelievable." Matt left the group. Instantly, Emily stayed. She didn't say anything right away. Just read every message, every photo. Then she replied, "I guess this is what you needed." No apology. No denial. Just that. I stared at that message and realized I didn't even know who she was anymore. Rachel messaged me privately a few minutes later. "I'm filing on Monday." "You?" I told her yes. There was nothing left to save. That group chat lasted all of 6 minutes. But it did more damage than anything else could have. It ended 2 marriages. 14 years of mine. 11 of hers. It set off a domino effect with friends, extended family, neighbors. People chose sides. Some people ghosted us completely. Others wanted the juicy details. Sick. But me? I didn't feel like a man who'd exposed a lie. I felt like a man who'd nuked his own life, just to prove the bomb was real. I always thought divorce was just paperwork and lawyers. I was wrong. It's war, quiet, exhausting, and fought in little, soul-sucking battles. Who gets what? Who pays what? Who was the villain? Emily filed first. Probably thought it gave her the upper hand. We didn't fight over the house. I gave it to her. I didn't want it anymore, the kitchen where we laughed, the bedroom where she lied, the porch where Rachel collapsed. Let her keep the illusion. What I did fight for was Lily. At first, I thought we could work out custody like adults. Shared time. Fair split. But Emily's lawyer came in swinging. She pushed for primary custody, said I was emotionally unstable, said I invaded her privacy by tracking her as if I was some kind of controlling psycho. The irony nearly broke me. I gave them all the evidence. Messages. Photos. GPS. Even the fitted logs. Didn't matter. They argued it was inadmissible because it was obtained without consent. Apparently, cheating's not illegal, but proving it might be. In the end, I got joint custody. Every other weekend. 2 nights a week. Not enough. Not when you raised a kid for 15 years and suddenly you're just the weekend parent. And Lily? She was cold. Distant. She stayed mad at me, blamed me for blowing everything up. Didn't speak to me for weeks. Refused to stay over the first few weekends. Said it didn't feel like home. I didn't fight her. I just let her be. Friends disappeared too. People I'd known for a decade stopped inviting me to things. Text threads got quiet. Barbecue invites dried up. I get it. No one wants to pick sides, so they pick silence. But it hurt. I moved into a small apartment on the edge of town. 1 bedroom. No decorations. Just a mattress on the floor and a coffee maker. It felt temporary even though I knew it wasn't. I'd sit there at night scrolling through old photos. Birthdays. Vacations. Backyard movie nights. All of it looked fake now. Like someone else's life. I didn't miss her. But I missed who I thought she was. I missed the version of my life I thought was real. It's been 6 months. The dust has mostly settled. The paperwork is done. The signatures are dry. Emily and I barely speak now, just the occasional text about Lily's schedule. Short. Cold. Business only. Matt? I haven't seen him since the group chat. I heard through the grapevine that he moved out. Rachel filed just like she said she would. Apparently his oldest kid won't even look at him anymore. As for Lily, she's starting to come around. She stayed over last weekend. We watched a horror movie like we used to. She didn't say much, but before she went to bed, she hugged me. First time in months. She whispered, "I know you didn't want this." And that broke me in the best way. I'm still rebuilding. Still waking up some days wondering how it all fell apart so fast. But here's the truth. If I could go back to the moment I saw those fitted steps, to the night I followed her to Matt's house, to the second I dropped everything in that group chat, I'd do it all again. Because the alternative? Living in a lie. Pretending. Letting her keep smiling at me like I was too dumb to notice. Letting my daughter grow up thinking that kind of marriage was normal. No. She broke it. I exposed it. And yeah, it hurt. It still does. But at least now I know the truth. At least now I can move forward, scarred, maybe, but free. So yeah, I do it again. Every step. Every message. Every moment of heartbreak. Because sometimes burning it down is the only way to rebuild. And next time, I'll be building something real.